Welcome to the Mindfulness Broadcast. Today, I want to talk today about boundaries in our Mindfulness Broadcast. Tis the season, I think, where I start hearing much more about boundaries. And specifically, this came from, I was meeting with an employer the other day who was looking at bringing our team in to do some professional development in their organization, or I was talking to a leader within an organization. And they were sharing, staff are really interested in like time management. And so I just kind of explored a little bit more in that. And I just said, what does time management mean to you? Because I think about, these are professionals, I'm guessing, who have iPhones and syncing calendars or Androids and however those sync and link and alerts and, all of the free access through Google calendars and Outlook calendars and all of those things. And so I was just a little curious, what does that mean? And after kind of working through it, she leaned forward and she said, I think they just want to feel less stressed. And I was like, okay, now we're talking. Now I see where we're going. And it made me start to think about how we might think the answer to feeling less stress around commitments and feeling busy and this never-ending to-do list is a better tool, that it's out there. If I can just find the right app that can integrate this and alert me to it and pull my attention over and seamlessly link me into whatever digital virtual world I'm supposed to be in. And when we kind of played with that a little bit, the more we talked about it, the more it was this discovery of that answer is not out there, because those already exist. The answer is usually, as with most things, inside. It's an inside job. And so what we started talking about instead were things like self-awareness, self-regulation, mindfulness, boundaries, solution-focused thinking, and so forth. And so really putting this full-day training together for staff around that. And then I had another conversation yesterday around boundaries. And so it really kind of motivated me to bring that forward today. And if we think about this, boundaries around time and our energy, and thinking about how we might blame. So we feel the frustration, we feel the pressure. And so we take that and we blame. Work is giving me too many things. The kid's schedule is too much. Things aren't integrating. I don't know where I'm supposed to go or pay. I can't find my password. And if I could just solve those things, I would feel less stressed. And instead, if we come to the other side of that and from the inside and say, what boundaries do I need to put in place to feel less stressed, to have a better relationship with time and my schedule? So are there places where I'm saying yes, where what I want to say is no, thank you? Are there agreements that I make around what I think I'm supposed to get done in a day that could actually benefit from some hygiene work of us looking at that list and saying, what boundaries do I need to put in place to say, I'm tapping out at 7. From 7 on is my time, and I'm not going to continue to give in all of these ways every day of the week. And I need that for my own self-love and resiliency and all of the other things. What boundaries do we need to put in place? And often we squish the boundaries because it means having a difficult or uncomfortable conversation with someone, making changes, saying no, expressing that you value your own time and your own self-care. And so that's where we can place the real work, is how do I use my mindfulness practice to build an acceptance of discomfort, to build an acceptance of unknowing, to build an acceptance of allowing people to feel however they're going to feel about these boundaries that I've put in place. So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to strengthen our own mindfulness muscle so that we can actually reduce our stress and manage our stress in a way that is something we have control over, that inside job, our own boundary setting, our own relationship to the discomfort that might surround those boundaries, or awareness to the assumptions or the stories that we're telling ourselves around those boundaries. So if that speaks to you, I hope that you can take this and start to put your own boundaries in place. I'm doing that as well in this season. And if boundary work is not of your interest, then just focus on your breath this morning as we go through this practice. So as you're ready, you can go ahead and close your eyes or take a soft gaze. And just allow your attention to fall in sync with your inhale and your exhale. Just bringing that awareness to what already is. You can make any physical adjustments in your posture or your being that allow you to really be present. It might be keeping your feet flat on the floor, uncrossing your legs, bringing your shoulder blades onto your back, feeling your chin tuck as your crown of your head lifts. Softening your belly, allowing it to expand fully with each inhale. Deepening the breath now. And then building this work on the assumption that we have agency in our lives. So we're building this boundary platform on that assumption. So from that platform, just reminding ourselves that boundaries are our responsibility. Setting them, maintaining them, revisiting them, bringing awareness to ourselves as our boundaries are honored or not honored. All of that work is our responsibility. And as you think about time and your relationship to time and stress, responsibility, obligation, I want you to first look at that landscape for places you already have boundaries set, where you already maintain boundaries. So, for example, I have to be at my desk at 8 a.m. And I assert that, and I set up my morning for that. I say it out loud. I have conversations with those who might get in the way of me getting to work at 8. This is just an example. Yours might be a special time that you set every week, or a walk you take every day. It might be a show that you watch every Thursday at 7:30. Where do you already have boundaries? Think about how you maintain that boundary. What do you do? What do you say? How do you prioritize that? What do you say to others who might bump up against that? And for most of us, we have something like that in place. And so we can rest assured we already know how to do the work. And now think about a boundary that, if put in place, you would feel less stress more than likely. You don't have to go big and profound. For example, one I've set recently in my own house is nobody touches my shoes. I manage my shoes because it stresses me out when I can't find them and it's time to go. So know that you don't have to have a big, profound boundary. What boundary, if put in place, would positively impact you? And as you think about that boundary, notice what happens for you. Notice if immediately you start to discredit it or devalue it, or make up stories about how you can't set that boundary for yourself. You might also observe some surprise. I didn't even really think that I could set a boundary around this, or that what was stressing me out is that I hadn't expressed a boundary. And think about how you might assert that boundary from a place of love and compassion. You don't have to draw permanent lines. You can just think about, how could I let folks know that this is important to me? Who do I need to let know about this? And what would I say? And we can even use phrases that help connection. So, for example, these stories you tell every morning when we come into work are so great. I really enjoy them. And what I've noticed is that I keep staying longer and I'm landing at my desk later than I want. And so I'd love to have this and hear this. What do you think about going for a walk at breaks? And you could tell me then, right? It doesn't have to be, I can't listen to you every morning. I won't listen to you. We can make boundaries that keep connection. And in fact, boundaries strengthen connections for most of us because then our time together is authentic. So just play with this morning as we close our practice. Keep this in mind. When you feel that trigger of stress, think about, what boundary could I revisit? Do I need to set? Find your breath, open your eyes, and come back together. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. This is hard work. Boundaries is hard work for many of us. So be gentle on yourself and take care. See you next week. Bye.